What, you think you made of money?
Hello?
I am feeling very weak. And if something happens to me, you're gonna be very sorry.
Welcome to the real Steven.
There's one scene from My 600-Pound Life that people still talk about, and it's both sad and hard to forget. Stephen Assanti, one of the most outrageous people to ever be on the show, was in the back of a van complaining that he felt very weak. His fix? Not rest, not water, but a huge fast food meal with meatball subs, fries, burgers, and a milkshake. And he wasn't shy about it. He sat there eating like it was a normal snack while telling the camera how bad he felt. It was the kind of moment where you don't know whether to laugh, cry, or close your eyes. That scene didn't just shock people, it went viral. And it showed just how wild some of the eating habits on this show can be. My 600-Pound Life is known for showing the struggles of people who weigh 600 pounds or more. It follows their journeys, their health battles, and their attempts to change their lives. But along the way, it also shows some truly insane meals. Meals that leave viewers wondering, did they really eat all that? This isn't about judging or making fun. It's about understanding how serious food addiction can get. Some of these meals aren't just big, they're massive.
Over the past month, a lot of these pathological behaviors started to come out.
We're talking breakfasts with stacks of biscuits and gravy, pizzas with extra sides, and late-night snacks that could feed a whole family. In this video, we're going to look back at some of the craziest meals ever eaten on My 600-Pound Life. These moments are shocking, sometimes funny, and always unforgettable. Just a quick note, I'm building this channel toward 1,000 subs. If you want to be part of that journey, hit subscribe. James K's episode is one of those that stuck with people, not just because of his weight, which was over 700 pounds at the time, but because of what he ate for breakfast. His morning meal wasn't just big, it was jaw-dropping. He started the day with a huge pile of scrambled eggs, 5 or 6 sausage patties, biscuits covered in sausage gravy, and then went back for seconds. That's right, seconds. Before most people finished their coffee, James was polishing off enough food for a small group. Viewers couldn't believe it. Social media lit up after the episode aired. Reddit threads popped up, people posted reaction videos, and even some dietitians online were doing double takes. One person joked, "That wasn't breakfast, that was a brunch buffet for 10. And honestly, they weren't wrong. To be clear, this wasn't meant to be funny in a cruel way.
To have lost any weight in the past 4 months. James needs to take responsibility for his behavior.
It was just shocking to see what some people on the show were dealing with. James wasn't eating like this because he was lazy or careless. He was trapped in a cycle, eating huge meals to cope with emotional pain, then feeling worse afterward and doing it all again the next day. His breakfast stood out not just because of the size, but because of what it represented. It showed how food had taken over his life. James couldn't walk on his own. He needed help with everything. And yet, food still played a central role in his day. Even Dr. Now, the show's no-nonsense surgeon, was stunned. When he met James, he made it clear. If James didn't change his eating habits immediately, he was in serious danger. And that started with cutting out massive breakfasts, like the one that shocked everyone. Karina Garcia's episode had one of the most unforgettable food moments in the show's history. At the time, she weighed over 600 pounds and was already struggling with her health. But the meal that really got people talking was one that felt more like a Super Bowl party spread than a regular dinner. In one sitting, Karina ate 2 large pizzas, a full-sized brownie dessert pizza, 20 chicken wings, and a large cheese-stuffed bread. It wasn't over the course of a day, it was all at once. And here's the part that left viewers stunned. She did all of this while she had a gastric balloon in her stomach, a device meant to help her eat less. People watching at home were floored. One comment online read, "How does someone even have room for that much food?" Others pointed out the emotional side of it, saying it was clear that Karina was eating not out of hunger, but from stress or sadness. And that's what makes her story hit hard. Karina wasn't just eating too much. She was stuck in a place where food was her only comfort. Even when her body physically couldn't handle more, her cravings took over. What's crazy is that Karina wasn't trying to be funny or outrageous. She was just being honest about what her daily life looked like. That's what the show does so well. It doesn't glamorize these moments, it just shows them. Dr. Now was quick to call out the danger. He told her that if she didn't stop, she was risking her life, and fast. She needed to take the balloon seriously and change her habits right away. Thankfully, Karina later made progress. She started to work hard at changing her lifestyle, but that massive pizza and brownie meal will always be one of the most shocking in my 600-pound life history. Vianney and Alan's story stood out not just because of the food, but because they were in it together. A lot of people on my 600-pound life struggle alone, but this couple faced their weight issues side by side. At first, that seemed like a good thing. They had each other for support. But as the episode went on, it became clear that their relationship was also feeding into their bad habits. One of their most talked about meals started with both of them getting huge portions of spaghetti. Each had a half-pound plate loaded with sauce and cheese. Then came a big stack of garlic bread. After that, they split a large pizza, and when Alan slowed down near the end, Vianney didn't hesitate to ask for his last slice. And that wasn't a joke. She really did eat her whole meal and part of his. The most shocking part? This wasn't a cheat day or a special occasion. This was just dinner. Watching the two of them eat was kind of heartbreaking. You could tell they cared about each other, but instead of pushing each other to be healthy, they were enabling the problem. Food was how they bonded, how they handled stress, and how they showed love. The more one of them ate, the more the other joined in. Dr. Now saw this right away. He told them they needed to break that pattern, because if they didn't,
Vianney and Alan have shown they influence each other to make poor food choices. So if one of them starts to slip up, the other will likely follow. Because
their relationship was actually putting both of their lives at risk. It wasn't just about losing weight anymore. It was about learning how to support each other without food. Their episode sparked a lot of conversation. Some people admired how close they were, while others felt frustrated watching them spiral together. But no one forgot that giant spaghetti and pizza meal. It became a symbol of how love, when mixed with addiction, can turn into something dangerous. Sarah Neely's journey on my 600-pound life was one of the more emotional ones. She started off weighing over 640 pounds and had a lot of struggles from her past: grief, trauma, and depression. But what really hit viewers was the moment she slipped up with food, right after she was approved for weight loss surgery. In the episode, Sarah decided to make a tater tot casserole, a heavy dish loaded with ground beef, cheese, cream soups, and frozen tater tots on top. It wasn't just a small plate either. She made a huge tray of it and admitted she ate way too much. For her, it was comfort food, but it also marked a moment where all her hard work almost came crashing down. What made it even more upsetting was how quickly it happened.
so you gained 14 pounds in just a few days, and you back up over 600 pounds again. So tell me what happened.
I ate some things this week I shouldn't have eaten.
And why is that?
I just lost control.
Did I tell you if you didn't lose or you gained weight, your surgery would be off?
Yeah.
She had just gotten the go-ahead for surgery, a big milestone on the show. But stress and old habits pulled her back in, and the casserole became a symbol of that struggle. Unlike some of the other meals on this list, this one wasn't shocking because of its size. It was shocking because of the timing. Sarah knew better, and she was trying. But addiction doesn't go away overnight. That's what made this scene so real. To her credit, Sarah didn't let the moment define her. After that setback, she got back on track. She even went on to inspire others with updates about her weight loss and her new life on social media. Still, that tater tot casserole became one of those unforgettable meals. Not because it was over the top, but because it showed how hard it is to change, even when you're doing everything right. If there's one person from my 600-pound life who became instantly famous, for better or worse, it's Stephen Assanti. His behavior, his attitude, and especially his eating habits made him one of the most talked about people to ever be on the show. But one thing that really stood out, his non-stop fast food binges. In one episode, while he was supposed to be traveling to Houston to see Dr. Now, Stephen made several stops for food. Not one, not two, multiple. He ate meatball subs, double cheeseburgers, fries, soda, and donuts all in a single trip. And it wasn't like he was sneaking it. He was open about it, demanding fast food like it was a basic need. "I'm feeling very weak," he said, while stuffing fries into his mouth. That one line became a meme. People couldn't believe it. He was literally eating himself into worse health while claiming to be in pain, then using that pain as a reason to eat even more. It was a vicious cycle, and one that played out right in front of viewers. The thing about Stephen is, he didn't hide behind excuses. He was dramatic, sometimes rude, and often manipulative, but he was also clearly struggling. His eating wasn't just about being hungry, it was about control, addiction, and probably a lot of emotional issues that went untreated for years. Dr. Now tried to intervene, but even he seemed worn down by Stephen's behavior.
Want this guy off.
Eating the world.
At one point, Stephen was kicked out of the hospital for sneaking in pizza deliveries. That's how deep the addiction ran. Of all the meals on this list, Stephen's fast food marathon wasn't just about how much he ate. It was the fact that he couldn't, or wouldn't, stop, even when he knew it was killing him. Whether you saw him as frustrating or just plain sad, there's no denying Stephen Assanti had one of the most extreme relationships with food the show has ever seen. Watching these moments from My 600-Pound Life can be shocking, emotional, and sometimes even hard to believe. The meals we've talked about, massive breakfasts, fast food marathons, pizza feasts, aren't just about overeating. They show us how deep food addiction can go. For the people on the show, food isn't just something they enjoy. It's something they rely on, even when it's hurting them. But these stories also remind us that change is possible. Some of the people featured here have gone on to lose hundreds of pounds and take control of their lives. It wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight, but it shows that even in the most extreme cases, there's still hope. If anything, My 600-Pound Life teaches us to look at obesity not with judgment, but with empathy. Everyone has a story, and for many of these people, food was their way of coping with pain, trauma, or loneliness. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives like this. We've got more wild stories, real struggles, and eye-opening moments coming your way, so don't miss out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.